Hi there, my name is Scott Sherman, this is me, and this is my second media usability evaluation assignment. So let's start off by talking about one of our weekly readings. It was called Preparing Instructional Designs for Game-Based Learning. And what I would like to direct us to is a particular paragraph that is the quintessential learning aspect about mediums or media that we have learned so far in this class. And that is that the type of media by themselves do not make any difference in learning, but is the way media is employed, so the instructional design, that determines effectiveness. So in this assignment, I really wanted to uh, go into the facts of how realistic game graphics should be, and that's what really intrigued me, and whether high production value was important. So the the game system or game site that I chose was the Nobel Prize game site. And this is because of all the games, this one seemed the more complex, and the games seemed a little bit higher production value. So um, I what I found intrigued me, but stayed true to what we had learned so far in this class, is an instructional design that makes for a good medium, not the medium itself. So let me explain my experience with the Nobel Prize game site. First started with the blood typing game, and it seemed very interesting to me because I am curious in blood types. So I clicked the quick game because I didn't want to create any type of accounts. So we went quick game, we proceeded, we picked a random patient, even though there's not much instruction for it. And the good things that I noticed was spatial continuity. So words and pictures were near each other. So words, images, instructions are pretty there for that. Pacing though, and pacing. Pacing, students could control every pace. It didn't just go whenever it wanted. The user had to proceed it. Some bad things that I did not see in this game though. There was no concepts first, so I have no idea it, what A, B, R, H. I have no idea what any of this means. Modality, I think there needed to be some type of narrated instruction rather than just animation on screen. There were cues present, so signaling was there, but sometimes it was quite confusing. So, because once again, I have zero idea what any of this means. There was no personalization, and even at some point you can kill someone, so there was a dehumanization factor. There is no human voice. Any type of noise is computer generated. So really, this game I found there was a big problem with lack of knowledge. That there just wasn't a lot of there wasn't a lot of type of ideas behind it unless you really searched for it. So the scaffolding wasn't there really in the beginning of the game. It's not really intuitive unless you really read up on it. And so a lot of times I just didn't know what I was looking for. My frustration led me to trying other games. I tried the split brain experiments and the Pavlov's dog game as well, and I found a lot of the same similarities and negatives. So in all three of these games, there was once again spatial continuity and pacing that were good in each game, but there was a lot of the lacking things are still there. So if you didn't have any prior knowledge, you would have a very difficult time. There wasn't really any directions right off the bat. Scaffolding wasn't there. Concepts first, modality, signaling, personalization, and human voice were all kind of and so in all honesty, I got stuck in a lot of these games because I just didn't know the rules. I didn't know how to play. I didn't know how to beat the game, and I didn't know really the objectives either. They weren't outright. And so, upon my reflection of each of these games, I think these games would be all excellent with the proper guidance, as long as the instructional designer did it in the right context and gave the right scaffolding. But the games themselves were difficult to navigate without any type of uh, instructor helping me. Now these games were basic internet games, and in my reflection, I am really curious about more complex games would stand up to Mayer's multimedia design principles. For instance, growing up, I played a lot of video games like World of Warcraft, Oregon Trail, Roller Coaster Tycoon, Civilization, all the Halo series, Minesweeper, Solitaire, all those thinking games. And so through each game, I felt like I learned a lot of strategy skills. I felt like I learned a lot of critical thinking components. I learned how to work as a team, and each one of them did a great service to me. It built me into kind of the person I am. I credit a lot of these video games as helping me along my learning course. Um, I didn't really have instructors for them. I kind of just learned along the way, and some of them had great tutorials, and so some of them and a lot of them had the multimedia design principles already in mind, just as we read in our reading this week. So in my farewell thought, I'm thinking, do these more complex games do more of a learning motivational service for students than simpler internet games as the ones we practice today? And I realize the research we have done may suggest no because it's just too expensive to make these games and it's not practical. You can learn in a different way. But my own experience nags me to say, yes, these games were extremely beneficial to me as a student. And there are things that may not be accounted for when we are measuring type of skills. All right. So that's my second MUE. Thanks. See you later.